my fellow Americans. If you think you know politics, think again. I'm Michael Cohen, and every week on When You Know, we're pulling back the curtain on power, politics, media, and the people making headlines. On my new WABC radio show, you'll hear conversations from names that you know. People like Jerry Falwell Jr., Anthony Scaramucci, Alan Dershowitz, and many, many more. Maybe, just maybe, we'll even hear from the president. No scripts, no spin, just real conversations with people who were in the room where it happened. And trust me, we've got some very big surprises coming. Look, I've spent years at the center of politics, controversy, and power. I know the players, I know the stories, and now I'm bringing you inside. When You Know, Sundays at 5 p.m. on WABC Radio, and When You Know Unleashed, wherever you get your podcasts. Because with me, you never know who's going to show up.
Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on your business purchases. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through July 15th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. Check out the new card design at www.delta.com/Spotify Business. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends July 15th, 2026.
Welcome to the 5 o'clock show. It's time for Common Sense. Now, it's Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby, standing for truth, justice, and the American way, bringing common sense to the world. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby.
Well, TGIF, it is Friday. And people are saying it's going to be a great summer weekend. And in the studio with us, Judge Richard Weinberg. And when are you heading for the Hamptons? Tonight. And Ed Cox?
I'm staying right here in the city doing my work.
Oh, my God. I think you should head out. You got a big house in West Hampton.
That's true, but got work to do here. Stay here.
Governor David Paterson, what are you doing?
Well, I was away on Lake George last weekend, so I think I owe it to the citizens of New York, even though I'm not governor anymore, to be here in the city. And if the chairman needs me, I'll come right over.
Well, last week.
Wow. And I'll be here to keep an eye on you guys, all right?
Well, last weekend I governed Central Park. I went for a walk in Central Park. So I did I fed the pigeons along with my grandson.
It was so beautiful, John, to see you guys. He's pretty good at feeding the pigeons,
and this weekend, where's that song? On the beach, on the beach, on the beautiful beach.
Oh, by the sea, by the sea, by the beautiful sea. That's the one, right?
That's the one.
See, how old do I know, John?
Not on the beach?
I think it's by the sea.
By the sea.
By the sea.
You want to get away from the city during the weekend? You know what you do? Stay in the city.
Because it's a whole different city.
That's right.
You got into a restaurant, go to a
walk
play.
in the park.
It is Friday. And we got a great show for everybody.
Yes, we do. We got some big names coming up.
Well, we got KT McFarland going to come up first. And she's going to tell us what the heck is going on in Iran. You know why the price of oil didn't go up $10 a barrel when Trump told him to go fly a kite? Because everybody knows they're going to sit down again.
Right. And they are, apparently, John. They're apparently starting already.
She's going to tell us what's going on.
Yep.
Larry Kudlow, the economy. Well, it almost hit 53,000, 54,000. Who knows where it is, but it's going to be 60,000 by December, my opinion. Senator John Kennedy from New Orleans, he's one feisty guy.
I love that guy.
Lara Trump, she is one great lady.
Yes, and I can't wait to talk with her. There's so much news, John, too, especially about the threats against her father-in-law. So there's a lot to talk about.
In the second half of the show, we have
Tommy Pickett
from the State Department. And what is he going to talk about?
He's got some very big stuff about the crackdown on Antifa and a whole bunch more. And we got Beth Van Dyne from the great state of Texas.
Texas, I love that Texas
I think
song.
we're going to have that Texas song ready.
Miranda Devine, do we have an Australia song?
We should. We Land Down Under.
No. She's from Brooklyn.
Yep.
No, but it's down under.
Come on.
The Australia.
We played down under.
And like every Friday, we're going to have Joe Contra at the end. So you could say, away.
That's the best way to end it. Best way. But first, you guys, here's an alert.
Breaking news, WABC.
And, John, everybody talking, of course, about the big threats against the president of the United States. Very scary stuff today. You know, we're getting details that like Israel was giving intel to them. And that's why he switched the planes. And then today, John, we just heard a little bit ago this is from the U.S. Attorney in Columbus, Ohio, about these 8 guys that were very actively planning an attack at that UFC White House event. I mean, it wasn't just words. They were getting guns. They were getting weapons. They were doing all these different layers.
Did we find out who they are? Are they going to tell us who the heck they are?
Yeah, we're trying to find out some more. We'll get some more.
They were immigrants? They were
They were, as far as we understand, they were American citizens.
Yeah, but they could be American citizens that became American citizens because Joe Biden
that's right. Put a stamp on.
Order on
You
it.
mean like all the other 20 million that he let in, essentially? Yeah, like one of those. We'll get some more details on that.
I just want the truth.
And also we need to know. As far as I know, my impression is they are more Antifa types and some others, but big question. And also where they funded, to your point, too. I mean, I would be curious who was backing them. They apparently met on the Signal chat. The other thing that's really wild, this is Zara Mondani, the mayor of New York, saying, well, I guess we made an error. His assistant, this is one of the commissioners there for international affairs. She was planning to meet with the UN ambassador from Iran.
Oh, that makes sense during time of war, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, that's shocking to me.
Especially, normally you can meet with any ambassador you really want.
But this is wartime.
Well, since Iran has declared wanting that the country of Iran wants President Trump dead. So I think that since they are calling for the death of the president,
exactly.
I think it's a bad time to meet with them.
And death to America. I mean, I agree, John. And it was supposed to be this week. And so she was meeting this woman.
How did it get stopped?
Well, it got stopped because the City Journal found out about it, broke the news. The State Department found out about it then and canceled the meeting because they said, what the heck are you doing?
Good for the State Department.
Yes, good for the State Department. And he was asked about it today. Mondani was asked about it. He said, well, it was an error. He didn't know about it. That's not good either. It makes me wonder who else is this person meeting with if indeed he didn't know.
Is Mondani a liar or is he stupid?
Right. I mean, it's troubling. I mean, why would somebody in his office think it's okay to meet with someone at a time of war? What do you think, Governor Patterson?
This is a woman. Her first name is Anna. I can't remember the rest of her name. But how she would not even advise her superiors that she's doing it, that crosses the line. That breaks the code. You just don't do that.
What makes you think she didn't advise?
It's speculation.
Yeah, speculation. Well, he claims so. He claims that he did not know. And he said it was an error, but he didn't look that upset about it.
All right. So let it be it.
Yeah, that is a very, very Trump. Well, let's go to KT McFarland, you guys. Former Deputy National Security Advisor under President Trump. KT, first of all, this is so scary. These threats against President Trump, really frightening. The ones we're hearing now coming from Iran, and then today the UFC one came out. More details about that. Very concerning. We got to protect our president.
Yeah, and what Iran has just done, just think about it. So they've apparently, throughout Iran, there are posters put up, say, wanted dead or alive, Donald Trump, reward offered, kill Donald Trump. Guess what? We have just gotten absolute justification for killing all the IRGC. President Trump says we got rid of their top-tier leader, Tier 1, Tier 2. Now we're working with Tier 3. Guess what? We could now have a rationale for targeting those IRGC leaders and go down to Tier 4, 5, 6, 7. We did not target them. Israel, what I have heard is that Israel wanted to take out, during the Ayatollah's funeral, wanted to take out some of the leaders because they're all congregated there for the funeral, right? And then President Trump said, no, don't let them have their funeral, let them have their day. They've asked for their time. And now that the Iranians have responded by the goodwill gesture that President Trump did by firing on those ships, I think we now have every right and responsibility, frankly, to start taking out some of the Iranian leaders.
Yeah.
Governor Patterson.
KT, do you have any idea why what you just suggested is not being done? Because I would think that would be the most natural reaction to the threats being made against our president.
Well, apparently during the various negotiations, the Pakistanis, who were at one point, hosting negotiations, said, "Look, don't take them all out. You got to have somebody to talk to." I think that rationale has gone. But the point, there's another point I really want to make that nobody's focused on, and this is a John Catsimatidis thing: a price of oil. When we had the memorandum of understanding, the ceasefire, oil prices were about $70 a barrel. Then we went up to the war; they went up to about 120. The ceasefire brought them down to about 70 again, and now we've resumed military operations. Ceafire's dead. And guess what? The price of oil did not go up to $120 a barrel. It went up to $62, $72 a barrel. Yeah. So what Trump has done is broken the back of Iran being able to use the Strait of Hormuz as a vehicle of blackmail. The other thing that he's done is by this 1 month ceasefire and by the war itself is that countries are now buying oil from the United States. The United States crude oil exports are up 30% from the beginning of the war. So Japan, Germany, Netherlands, they're all coming to buy American oil. So in fact, it's been good for American business. We could probably sell a lot more oil. We just don't have the capacity yet. But a 30% increase in a month's time is pretty good.
And you're right. I mean, the fact is that there's WTI, American oil, Canadian, American, Mexican oil. We never ran short. I mean, I said to people there was no reason for it to follow Brent, which is the European Asian oil, because they're the ones that had the problems. We had zero problems in North America.
We're energy independent and we're energy dominant. We are controlling the world oil supply. And you control the world oil supply, you control the world economy, and you control artificial intelligence and the future of the world, which requires a lot of energy, and if we've got an abundance of it, more than anybody, we're in terrific shape, especially compared to a country like China, which has to import all of its energy.
Ed Cox.
We are producing more oil than any other country. We're producing more gas than any country, and at $70 a barrel, we will keep producing more of both.
Absolutely. Well said.
Well, anything else you want to tell the American people on a Friday night?
Good times are coming. They're just not quite here yet, but they will be because Donald Trump has put Iran in a position where it has no cards to play. They're running on fumes, and if we, as the Secretary of Treasury just announced an hour ago, we've now seized a number of offshore accounts. We're squeezing them, and they may not want to admit it, but the objective reality is we have won this war. There are no nuclear weapons. If they try to rebuild them, we'll bomb them. We're going to work our way down to the first, second, third, fourth tier of leadership, and our economy is going to be roaring ahead while Iran is going to be in the dust.
And I just want to remind everybody, every citizen out there, the way Iran became rich again is when President Trump, up to January 20th, 2021 was the president, we only allowed him 300,000 barrels a day. Then, and it was at $55 a barrel a day. President Biden became president. Oil went to $100 a barrel and allowed Iran 3 million barrels a day. And we made them zillionaires again, and they used their excess money to create terrorism. Thank you, KT, and I'll see you on Main Street in Southampton.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you
guys.
so much. And now let's go to Larry Kudlow, the economy. And in January, I promised all the investors a $60,000 Dow by December 31, 2026. And, well, I think we're on the way there. I mean, Larry Kudlow, you're the best economist in the world. You're number one. Tell us, how the heck you feel about the economy?
Bullish.
Me
Profits.
too. Go ahead.
Profits are everything, and they are coming in across the board, and they're driving up stock prices, and they're making businesses flush and hiring and raising wages. I got a everyone's worried about Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. And by the way, not the stock market. The stock market hasn't worried about it for a while. But here's a number. two numbers from CENTCOM. Okay, CENTCOM, which is known.
Central Command of the United States.
Since early May, more or less, early May, 825 ships have transited through the Hormuz Strait. So who cares about Iran? And wait for this, 380 million barrels of oil. So don't tell me that Iran controls the strait. They do nothing of the sort. They can say whatever they want to say, and they can be stupid, and lob bombs at ships and our bases, and we will crush them again and again. But these numbers, 825 ships have passed through carrying 380 million barrels of oil. And that's why oil prices have come down. And that's one reason why stocks have gone up. But profits are the real reason why stocks have gone up. So there, I got you those numbers.
Well, thank you so much. And what are you going to be talking about on your show tomorrow?
Those numbers.
Those numbers. Well, okay. You got it first on Friday from Larry Kudlow.
I know. That's why I can't stand doing this. I have to give you my best stuff on Friday night. It's really amazing.
Well, no, you're going to give him even more stuff. You're going to give him even more stuff on Saturday morning because it's the number one show on Saturday mornings in 178 countries and 50 states.
And the solar system.
Absolutely.
And the Milky Way.
Anything else you want to tell? I mean, you're right. The smartest people in the world are those oil traders. So when Trump told them to go fly a kite to Iran, and the oil went up from 68 to 71 instead of going up 10 points, you know what it meant?
No, you're right. That was important. In other words, nothing really happened. Okay?
Only a few nervous Nellies sold, and that's why.
That's exactly right. And, we're running the place. And the whole world listen, you're going to have a glut of oil in the next 6 to 12 months. A glut. You're going to have too much oil, right? UAE increasing their production, Iraq increasing their production, Saudis increasing their production and building another pipeline east to west and going out the Red Sea. The USA is increasing its production. Venezuela is increasing its production. It's a great story. It's a story about freedom and free enterprise and capitalism, which is the best path to prosperity.
And Larry, it'll be a good time to refill our strategic petroleum reserve that Biden drained. Back in 2024.
Well, no, the only time that President Trump is going to refill it when it's going to be under $50 a barrel.
Exactly, which Larry was just projecting.
Well, I think, I don't like to predict oil, but I'm just saying it has not bottomed. The price has not bottomed, and the price of gasoline will be coming down substantially more.
And what happens when energy comes down? What else goes down?
Inflation.
And what happens when inflation goes down? What else goes down? Interest rates.
Interest rates.
This is a great seminar.
Yeah, this is a wonderful seminar. We're all learning so much.
But that's what it is. And I was asked this morning.
What happens when oil goes down, inflation goes down, and interest rates go down? You know what happens then?
Real estate goes to the moon.
And you see happy Americans.
Happy days are here again.
I was just going to say the key point is the communists will lose the November election.
Well, let's hope so.
Where's that song, Happy Days?
Yeah, where is the Happy Days? We have it.
Here again, the skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again.
Now, make sure, I'm listening to your show tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Make sure you have happy days.
All right, we'll run it with Louis Armstrong.
Okay. Thank you, Larry Kudlow.
Thanks, Larry.
And 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Saturdays, Larry Kudlow on larrykudlow.com or WABCradio.com or on your iPhone, 77 WABC. Listen to it, 178 countries and 50 states. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Larry. And John, we're going to take a break. We have Senator John Kennedy. I love him. The no-nonsense great guy from Louisiana. And Laura Trump. You can't get better than that coming up on Katz and Cosby.
common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Cats and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, with us today is a good friend and one good guy. We have Senator John Kennedy. And what the heck is going on in Iran? Well, Senator Kennedy, you usually have your ears to the ground and you have your opinions. What the heck is going on?
Well, it's kind of predictable, John. I think the president was right to give peace a chance. But so far it hasn't worked. I mean, dealing with the Iranian government is like dealing with Son of Sam or John Wayne Gacy or Charles Manson. They're just not rational people. And but we tried. And what I think we ought to do next is what the president is starting to do. We had taken the sanctions off the sale of Iranian oil. He has put those back on. I think he ought to consider another blockade to stop Iranian ships from going in or out. And when I talk about that, people say, yes, but we need the strait to be open in order for oil to come in and out from other countries. And that's true. But our Navy has done a good job quietly of escorting ships, non-Iranian ships, along the southern part of the Strait of Hormuz next to Oman. I'm not saying we get all 100% of the ships through, but we can get 60 to 70% of the ships through, which will keep the price of oil within reason. And then the president's going to have to make a decision about whether to really go Catwoman on Iran and start bombing again. We had done some bombing, but it's been more strategic than carpet bombing, and that's kind of where we are. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We can't let Iran have the ability to produce and manufacture all of these missiles to hit other Middle Eastern countries and Europe and Turkey and eventually, I guess, even the United States if their missile technology gets good enough. And that's kind of where we are.
Oh, I understand that, and the fact is, and the terminology I've been using, and I'm sure you had your own terminology. I had a few laughs over the week. That there's two sets of Iranians, and it reminds me of the Planet of the Apes. There are the chimpanzees, that the intellectuals that want to have peace, and then there are the gorillas that want to have war.
Yeah.
So it's a mess, and we got to get rid of the gorillas because they're never going to they never want peace.
Well, you can't get rid of the ones who don't want peace without stopping their sale of oil, because all of the oil sales by Iran go to the Revolutionary Guard. That's basically the military and paramilitary unit of the country. And they are not exclusively but substantially in charge. There are others with whom the president's people have been negotiating who would like to work something out, but as you can see from Iran's behavior, they are in the minority.
Understood. Senator, anything else you want to say on the Thursday, on a Friday evening to the people of the American people?
God bless America. Feel gratitude for our country. We're not perfect, but we are good, and we're the greatest country in all of human history, and we'll be fine. We've just got to remember who we are as Americans.
Thank you so much for coming on this Friday evening, and we'll talk again on Sunday. Thank you so much.
John, you're the Prime Minister of Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being on, and I always enjoy talking to you. Thank you.
Breaking news, WABC.
And guys, this just in, he said originally he was going to wait till Monday to drop out, literally the deadline. And just a few moments ago, Graham Plattner, the very disgraced Maine Senate Democratic candidate, has officially dropped out of the race, John.
I'm shocked.
Is anyone crying? Anyone in America crying?
How's that movie was? Casablanca?
Yeah, they're gambling.
I'm shocked. There's gambling going on. And I got to make fun of MSNBC.
Oh, yeah, let's do a breaking news for MSNBC. Here it is.
Breaking news, WABC.
I mean, I'm watching, we have all the TV sets on in the studio. MSNBC is reporting that, what did it say?
Gas prices are going up because of
the new strikes in Iran. What are they looking at? John, what are they looking at?
Is there a crime when you fool the people?
There should be. It's like an alternate universe. I mean, that's the other thing, too. It's like, there have been times where I'll never forget years ago, you guys, I was taking a trip. And I was on the trip, and I remember I was hearing about, I think it was a CNN report at the time saying, oh, these lovely people are in a church and they're holed up and they're being attacked by the big bad U.S. troops. And then I turned into somewhere else, and they're like, terrorists are firing upon U.S. troops from a church. It's like two different worlds, and same thing right now with what we're seeing with gas prices.
With oil prices, when they were going up, the legacy media was talking about. Now they're going down. Silence.
Right, exactly.
Except for this misinformation.
And what about when Biden, I mean, John, you know this better than anybody. Under Biden, it was $4 a gallon for gas prices, and there was no war, right? So, I mean, there wasn't a war in the Middle East. I mean, come on. It's called a little bit of twisted coverage. What do you think?
Yes,
what do you think?
Of course.
Governor Patterson, anything you want to say?
It's really sad that the media injects its own political feelings into their coverage because there's no evidence that the oil prices went up, and the reason there's no evidence of it is because it didn't happen.
Other than that, it's perfectly fine.
You got it.
Yeah, other than that, it's perfectly fine.
All right. We have any the top news of the day?
Absolutely. And then afterwards, we're going to have Laura Trump, Tommy Pickett, Beth Van Dyne, Miranda Devine, and Joe Concha. But first, big news of the day.
It's the top news of the day. Here's Rita Cosby.
Well, as we were saying, it is official. Graham Plattner just filed his paperwork to officially suspend his bid. He originally said he was going to do it on Monday. At the end of the day, the deadline was 5 o'clock. And of course, this comes after allegations this week of sexual assault, which he denies. A number of Democrats are already lining up, guys, to be the party's new nominee, with whoever comes out on top taking on Republican incumbent Senator Susan Collins in Maine, who's
Is this
terrific.
going to be a new improved Plattner?
Well, it seems to me, it makes me wonder because he decided, originally said Monday, and then he said he wanted to have a say in who was going to replace him. So maybe he's unfortunately happy with who might be in the lead. I don't know. It's a convention, they say.
I think the convention people told him to go fly a kite.
I hope they did. I hope they told him to fly many kites. And you guys also, we talked about the heats earlier today. It is set to be another really scorching hot weekend across America. Forecasters are warning of dangerous heat and stifling humidity starting today, which we can all feel, and it continues into next week. And we're going to take a break. We have a lot more ahead on Katz and Cosby, a busy Friday.
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back, John.
We are back, and we got Lara Trump on, and I look forward to talking to her every Friday and talk about her show on Saturday.
And she has the best show on Saturday. It's My View with Lara Trump, of course, on Saturdays at 9 o'clock on Fox News Channel. And Laura, before we get to that, how is everybody doing in the family? All these threats against your father-in-law. We've been thinking of him so much. Thank goodness he's in control of the world. Thank goodness right now.
Amen to that. I couldn't think of another person who would be better suited to handle this time in not just our country, Rita, but the entire world other than President Trump. But you're so sweet to ask. Listen, we're so lucky. We have incredible people around us. Obviously, the president has a very tight security team of Secret Service around him at all times. And listen, I think that he knew going into this second term in office that this was a possibility. Look at the things that happened during the campaign in 2024. look at what this man has endured. But, it's for the greater good. It's for setting our country on the right path and the world on the right path. And I think he knows that, at the end of the day, it's all ultimately worth it. So you're very sweet to ask, though. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't even imagine just with all the threats. And he said, listen, I'm doing this for the world. And he keeps repeating it's Iran, obviously. No surprise. He took out Soleimani. He's had the guts to go after them again. The other thing is the UFC. The more details about the UFC, too. It's from many different directions.
Yeah, and it's I'll tell you, that one is even scary for all of us. I had my kids at that event, and you look at the number of people who showed up, not just there at the White House, but the larger group of people who were outside, who were there at the Ellipse watching on the big screens there. It's really sad that we've kind of come to this place in our country where you see more and more of this happening. But I think the message that the president wants to send, and that all of us from our family want to send, is that we never should stop living life. We never should stop fighting for the right causes. We should never let these people intimidate any of us from doing the right thing and moving down the right path. And so I think, you keep your foot on the gas, and this is what the president has continued to do as well. So I think for everybody out there, I would say stay in the fight, stay facing the right direction, and we'll be right there alongside everybody.
Yeah, beautiful message. And boy, have you guys epitomized the fight. I mean, it's been amazing. I know you're going to be heartbroken about this, but Graham Plattner has officially dropped out just a few minutes ago, Laura. He officially dropped out of the race, filed the paperwork. Everyone wondered, is he really going to file the paperwork? But I guess he did. They found a notary of public to be able to do it too, right? So let's see where this goes. But what a mess the Democratic Party is in, Laura. I mean, you can't imagine the fact this guy was even there, and it wasn't until he started dropping in the polls that they said, well, maybe we should have someone else.
Well, that's the key. You hit the nail on the head there with that, Rita. That's what everyone needs to be aware of and look at with today's Democrat Party. This is a party who has not, it seems like in a lot of cases, really cared about the best person, the best practices or policies for our country. They've cared about maintaining and ensuring they have power in perpetuity. That is what this is all about. So any individual who's going to lead them down the path of a win and a check in their box, for them, that is acceptable. And Graham Plattner, you didn't need to go through, my favorite argument is, who was vetting him? The vetting process was off with him, obviously. You don't need a vetting process to know that a guy with a Nazi tattoo probably is a bad candidate and a bad person to run for the United States Senate. That should have told them all they needed to know. But they were willing to continue on, to your point, Rita, as long as the polling showed that he had an opportunity to beat Susan Collins. The second that changed, all of a sudden they piled on in the same exact way they did to Joe Biden when they needed him to drop out of the race so they could plug Kamala Harris in. And they told him, look, it's time for you to go. Either you go now or you're going to be even more embarrassed. And Democrat voters should take note. They are maintaining this kind of consistent place where they don't allow you really to choose who you want. They're choosing these people for you. So now they got to choose another person to replace Graham Plattner, as it turns out. I'm not sorry to see him go, but I think it shed a lot of light on who exactly the Democrat Party is and their goals at the end of the day for a lot of people.
And California. Don't forget what they did to the guy in California.
Swalwell.
Eric Swalwell. Yeah, when he became a problem for them, they had to get rid of him too, and they did. This is a pattern with the Democrats, and everybody needs to start picking up what they've been laying down.
And Laura, before we let you go, I saw a teaser earlier. You have, I love Sarah. You have Sarah Carter on this weekend. Tell us about your awesome show, because we're all going to be tuning in.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I have Matt Whitaker, who's the NATO ambassador to the United States on. He's fantastic. Obviously, we're talking about things from, the international perspective with him. Sarah Carter is the drug czar, and she is in this fight. She's amazing. They're using a lot of new tactics and techniques right now from her position and within this administration to tackle the war on drugs. And by the way, a side note, you have socialists out there who want to stop the fight against the war on drugs. They want to just, make everything free for all for everybody. It's totally insane, but she's fighting back. We have a guy, you may have seen the docuseries Cocaine Quarterback. His name is Owen Hansen. He was one time a football player at USC, got wrapped up in the drug cartel world, and has turned his life around after being in prison for a decade. And you cannot believe his story, guys. It's amazing. Everybody's going to be on with me this weekend, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. on Fox News, and it's going to be a great show.
Awesome. I can't wait to see all of them. This cocaine quarterback, I never heard of that. That's like a wild one.
Then, Rita.
I always do. I love your show. Well, Laura, we are so grateful to have you on. Everybody, make sure you tune in. She's going to have another blockbuster show this Saturday, 9 p.m. Laura Trump there on Fox News Channel. Laura, thank you so much. And you guys stay safe. We love you.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you guys. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. And you guys, now let's go to the State Department. We have Tommy Pigott, who is the spokesperson with the State Department. And boy, oh boy, Marco Rubio has been very busy of late. One of the things, let's get to Tommy this today. He just put out a statement about this guy from Laos, an illegal immigrant. And Tim Walz had given him clemency, him and his pardon board. And this is a horrible person.
It really is. Someone who was convicted of heinous crimes, a child rapist, convicted of those heinous crimes, and yet Tim Walz, shielding him from deportation, gave him a pardon. It's inexplicable. But then Secretary of State Marco Rubio stepping in, revoking that legal status, and then our colleagues at DHS and ICE moving quickly to remove this individual from the country so he will never be able to threaten another American ever again. It just shows the difference, I think, in how this administration is approaching this and making sure that, as we always do, we are siding with the American people each and every time.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't be a more stark. And this guy, it was a repeated abuse. The girl was as young as 10. And then when he was asked about it, he said, oh, it's a minor issue. He confessed to it. He said it's a minor issue.
The more you hear about this case, the more you realize this is someone that should never have been in our country, needed to be deported, be held accountable for his crimes, and yet Tim Walz issuing that pardon. It really, like I said, is inexplicable. But the Trump administration, again, saying we are not going to allow foreign nationals that commit crimes to be in our country and threaten the American people. We're not going to allow it. We're going to take concrete action to protect the American people. We're under no obligation to state the obvious, to allow someone convicted of heinous crimes to roam free in our streets, and yet Tim Walz wanted to give him a pardon.
Yeah, it's shocking. Judge Richard Weinberg.
Tommy, good to talk to you again. So the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is now going to a conference about Antifa and the spread of Antifa worldwide. Would you explain what that's about and why that's such a big threat to America and the Western civilization?
Yeah, so we're hosting a really historic ministerial at the State Department addressing this threat. The threat itself is not new. It's something that's has existed for many decades, but it's something that for many decades was not properly addressed. No more under the Trump administration. We are addressing this issue. So we're inviting representatives from countries all around the world, including Europe, Asia, the Western Hemisphere, to address this threat. And what we're talking about are groups that engage in terrorist activity. And that's really important to stress. These are groups that are violent, engaging in terrorist activity such as kidnappings, such as threatening U.S. officials, such as targeting the civilian population. So this is something we're seeing these groups around the world. And the transnational nature of these Antifa-linked groups is what's so important to address. They operate often across borders. So it's important that we work with our foreign counterparts, with law enforcement, to make sure that we have communication, information sharing, can identify these groups. And then from the State Department's perspective, we have taken action, including designating several of these groups as terrorist organizations that allows us to go after those that are providing material support for these groups. So it really is a major approach to make sure we're addressing this gap that's existed in our counterterrorism strategy.
Yeah, I have a question, Tommy. What foreign countries are most engaged with sort of sponsoring Antifa? Like, where is most of the money coming from?
Well, that's part of why this ministerials like this are so important, to make sure we have the law enforcement tools and the communication necessary to identify these groups. The way that funding comes from, it's a variety of sources, but that's why we're having law enforcement professionals and other professionals joining us in this work as well, to make sure that we're fully understanding how these groups are financed. And that's why that designation I mentioned is so important too, because it lets us go after those that are providing that material support for these groups. So we're making sure that we first understand this threat landscape that we see reasserting itself right now, but then also are taking action with our foreign counterparts to protect the American people and also our allies and partners.
Great.
And remember the key thing about the Biden administration is that there's no such thing as an organization called Antifa.
Right.
It was merely an idea.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes to the fact that this threat was growing and growing and growing, and the previous administration did absolutely nothing to address this threat. So we are making sure that we address this threat. And these are groups that are already engaging in violent activity. We see it with our own eyes, and we're no longer turning a blind eye. From the moment that President Trump took office, this is something that he's has been addressing. We continue to address it, and we're going to take further actions on this.
Absolutely. Well, Tommy, thank you very much. By the way, it was great seeing you when you came to New York a couple of weeks ago, too. It was
that was great. It was awesome to stop by. Thank you for hosting me there.
It was great.
Thank you,
Tommy, very much. And now let's go to Texas if we can.
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
That is a great song.
I love that. Isn't that, John? Especially on a Friday. Who better than Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne from the great state of Texas? Beth, it's great to have you here. And you have a big, important topic. You've been cracking down on these visas. We just were talking with Tommy Pickett of the State Department. Tell us about these HB1 visas that you're working on.
No, I mean, I'm actually really thrilled that the Department of Labor is announcing that they're having these sweeping investigations. We've been seeing, H-1B visa fraud specifically in North Texas. And I think that's why you saw, I sent a letter along with Ronnie Jackson, Pat Fallon, and Brandon Gill, to the administration, imploring them to look at the fraud that we're seeing. It's rampant. It's in plain sight. The whole H-1B visa program was sold to Americans, right? As this is a necessary immigration path, so we could bring in like these super geniuses from around the world, that are going to solve issues, deliver new innovations because we needed them here. But it has just been utterly corrupt system where you are seeing that it's replacing American workers. In positions like coding and accounting and physical therapy, and even in home health care, it's completely warped and it's harmful. And so the Department of Labor, DOJ, are what they're going to find is like these massive schemes around the country where people are using fake credentials to get, for degrees of experience. They are employing, dozens of people at these ghost businesses where they really aren't employing anyone. You're going to see corporations that are parking these H-1B visa applicants that are going to hire them while at the same time firing American workers. There's issues with human trafficking, with kickbacks, with wage exploitation, and it's being done really by criminal enterprises. This is a very concerted, very organized effort. And it's not just about Americans that are being shut out of jobs, but I mean, this is a national security issue. We've got thousands, if not tens of thousands of people across our country and companies, dealing with very sensitive information, and these need to be investigated and deported when we see fraud happening. And Sarah Gonzalez with the Blaze TV has done a phenomenal job at uncovering a lot of this, especially in North Texas. And she's showing where there's like residential single family homes where there are like dozens and dozens of these H-1B applicants that are supposedly working, but these buildings are empty. They're not businesses. And so we're going to continue what we can to uncover the fraud.
Now, does anybody go to jail? I mean, tell us.
Well, I think in May, the Department of Justice just announced that they had uncovered more than 10,000 foreign students connected to suspect employers as part of this massive fraud scheme. And so this is like the pipeline. I know that Texas was just included in the list of states where they saw huge numbers of fraud. And so they need to revamp the system where they are not giving out nearly as many. Two, we have to figure out legislatively what we could put it in there so that we are putting the reins on it, and it's being investigated. It's being stopped.
What countries are they coming from, or where is it coming from?
You're seeing a tremendous number coming from Southeast Asia, specifically from India, at least in North Texas. That's what we found. But they're coming from all around the world. But specifically in North Texas, we're seeing a tremendous number coming from Southeast Asia.
So why North Texas?
Yeah. Why are they going to North Texas?
Yeah.
Ed Cox is asking. Good question.
Tremendous number of tech jobs. And so that's where you're seeing them, where you have tech workers, where you've got that experience, where they've got the excuse that we need to have the best and the brightest, but they're not coming in to take the best and the brightest jobs. They're coming in to take jobs that Americans currently are holding, but they can pay them a lot cheaper. And the businesses are basically more or less incentivized to hire over American workers. And they're not bringing in the best and the brightest. They are displacing American workers. They are undercutting wages. And so, you're having a lot of kids who are graduating from college that have a pathway to being successful, and it's being stolen from them.
Well, President Trump solved that problem with the car manufacturers. If you send a car to a car factory to Mexico because you're going to save $100 million a year, well, he's charging them $100 million a year in tariffs to bring them back. So what do we do with these visas?
Well, you stop giving them when it's outside of the realm of what it was meant for. Two, I think we should go after the fraudsters, which is what we're doing, what you're seeing DOJ and Department of Labor do, and put an end to it. It has been going on for years. It is rampant because nobody has actually looked at this as being an issue. Did this start during the Biden administration too? I would love to be able to blame the Biden administration, but it's been going on for a number of years. Okay. And the problem is that nobody has recognized the fact that it is as rampant as it is.
Well, bravo for you for cracking down on it and drawing attention. And obviously those who are doing it, especially, it should be held accountable if it's criminal activity tied to it, too, as well.
Absolutely.
Congresswoman, thank you so much. It's always great to have you. Thank you so much.
Great to see you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and stay cool.
Thank you. You too.
And
thank you.
Now, let's go to Australia.
And we have a little music.
Do you come from a land down under?
I love that song. Let's go.
Great song.
Great song. And let's go to great journalist Miranda Devine. Miranda, you had a blockbuster column, and boy, it talked about the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. You probably just heard also that Graham Plattner officially filed his paperwork. So I'm sure we're all going through just a terrible withdrawal, crying over it. He finally filed it officially. Everyone wonders, is he really going to do it?
Isn't that hilarious? Yes. Well, the only reason that this has happened and that he was forced out of the race was because he was tanking in the polls. It looked like Susan Collins was going to win easily. She may still win, depending on who they put up against her, which is an amazing feat for, a fairly elderly incumbent senator in a pretty Democrat state. I think Susan Collins is a quiet achiever there. But, Graham Plattner, there was a big poll done just a few days before the latest rape allegation against him. And that showed that with working class white voters, which is most of the Democrat voters in Maine, Graham Plattner was behind Susan Collins with the working class vote by 23 points. So what an irony that this guy who was manufactured to be this sort of ersatz working class hero, this oyster man construction, wearing, the flannel shirts and the gravelly voice, etc., that the working class that he's supposed to appeal to saw right through him. They saw he was a phony, that he was a silver spooner who went to expensive private schools and whose parents spoiled him rotten. So I think it's just egg on the face of the Democrats, and really to stop them from doing this, to stop them from embracing socialism, what voters should do, whether they like the Republicans or not, is vote against the Democrats in the midterms because they need to be taught a lesson. Obviously, the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris catastrophe wasn't lesson enough.
So who has the courage in the Democratic Party to stand up? I mean, Governor Patterson, do you know yet?
Well, he just got out of the race, so I don't know who. I don't know very much about the other candidates, but they, I would hope, have a much different idea as to how to win than what.
No, who has the courage?
overall?
I'm talking about what
party.
common sense Democrat has the courage to stand up against the socialist
In the whole party.
One Senator, Fetterman.
Yep, Fetterman. Anybody else that you can think of, Gov. Patterson?
Myself.
Oh, right. There's two. There's two profiles of courage. Thank goodness.
Josh Shapiro, is he? Does he have the courage to do it?
He's kind of been waffling lately. Did you see Miranda? He made some comments that made me sound like he's kind of acquiescing to them a little.
Yes, look, I think it's very, very hard, especially if you do it in today's Democrat Party, because there's such a wave of anti-Semitism. And really, we should call it Jew hatred, call it for what it is. That someone like Josh Shapiro, who has enormous gifts and, who should be a good centrist Democrat, is pretty much ruled out of presidential contention because he would never get the nomination, even though he'd probably, if the Democrats put forward just sensible, middle of the road, old school Clinton-style Democrats, or what Joe Biden pretended to be, they would romp in so many races.
That's probably very accurate.
Yeah, they're incapable of doing it. And it's not good for the country because it allows Republicans to go a little nuts themselves. And it stops any discipline on the Republican Party because they really don't have any proper competition apart from these communists who, mainstream America is not going to go for communists. New York might, and California, where they managed to rig the system. But, the swing states are not going to go for them. And I don't know if Maine was going to go for them, but it looked like they weren't going to once they realized who Graham Plattner was and that he was a phony. That's the big thing. He was a manufactured candidate made in a vat. And the very socialist recruiter that discovered him said, people don't want their candidates made in a vat. When that's exactly what he did with Graham Plattner. They went out and posed him as if it was a casting call for a reality sitcom.
Yeah. And in fact, those people, my favorite line of the whole thing, Miranda, when they did the vetting, was the two people, the guy and the girl, you guys, when they were asked, well, didn't you know the stuff about his background? Did you look at his post? Well, we saw some of the things. Oh, but no big deal. I mean, oh my God, Miranda, it is crazy land. And it's common sense versus crazy, I think, is the way to look at the midterms. Thank you so much, Miranda. We love you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Great to talk to you. Bye.
You too. Thank you so much. And you guys, we are going to take a break, and then we have Joe Concha right after that.
Oh.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby, and we cannot break our Great Friday tradition. We always have to have the great Joe Concha on. And, of course, you can listen to Joe every weeknight on 77 WABC, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And, Joe, I know you saw the map that the mayor put out of the ethnic communities. What'd you make of it?
Oh, well, besides the point that the Italian community was not included, the Irish community was not included, we had a lot of Somali and other favorable to Bebdani communities, but we didn't have that. So this guy, again, all intentional, all trying to redraw the map. And I would hope that we could get a Republican that could run against this guy, a real Republican that could actually, like a really Rudy Giuliani or even Michael Bloomberg, who could say, well, I'm not really a Republican. All right, good enough. Give me somebody serious to take this guy out because, again, he's trying to redraw maps. He's trying to redraw this city, and it's a whole bowl of wrong, Rita.
Did you see, by the way, on the map? I mean, it's so, I had to laugh. There's little Palestine. There was little Yemen. There was little Pakistan. They did have little Poland, although I'm not sure how many Poles are really, thrilled about Madani. But But I'm laughing. You have all these communities, little Yemen, but you don't have the
No
Irish.
little Israel.
No Israel.
Famous three eyes of New York City politics.
Right, Italian, Israel, and also,
Israel,
of course,
Ireland,
Irish. Yeah, I mean, come on,
Where's Little Italy?
Yeah, where's Little Italy?
No,
right, the big
not.
event it's so
China,
easy.
No, it's not. I mean, again, and everybody says that it's a mistake. Oh, well, they just overlooked it. No, they didn't. This is the way they want New York to be. And if we keep electing people like this, if it happens over and over again with socialists and NY12, NY13, now the mayor, this will be the new New York. Congratulations, everybody. This is what Zoran Abdani wants, and he will get it unless we get real candidates in there to stop this.
Governor Patterson.
Well, Joe,
Governor Patterson's about to announce. Go ahead. I wish.
Joe, if they really believe that that map is a mistake, then I guess it was a mistake that they let one of their commissioners go to the Iranian embassy to try to have a meeting today and was kicked out of there.
Yeah. I mean,
by our State Department.
Yeah, the State Department found out about it. Did you hear this, Joe? And they canceled it. But what were they doing? Planning to meet? We're in a time of war. They're having death threats against our president.
And Governor Patterson, this more than anybody, that if you try to have a meeting like this, right, as a representative of the United States, that is illegal. That is wrong. That is punishable. But that's what happened here. So, again, we have people trying to control this country, and they're elected, I guess, but at the same time, what we're seeing here in New York or Seattle, Washington, D.C., the big question is, can somebody like this, a socialist, win in a place like Michigan, for example? He's not a doctor.
Right.
By
the way, Joe explained to everybody how it came out this week that he's not even a doctor.
No, he doesn't have a medical license. Right. My wife's an ER doctor. All right. That is a doctor. All right. She's treating literally people right now in an ER while we speak.
So that makes him a doctor.
The bottom line is that
what is he?
Can you win in a place like Michigan statewide instead of like cities like Washington, D.C., and New York, and Seattle? That's the big question right now as far as socialism. Because if it succeeds on a statewide level, then you have AOC as your nominee. If it doesn't, then it's just a thing that's going to take over cities.
By the way, did you guys see that it came out that the New York Post, I think, was the ones who reported this, that Graham Plattner, the original plan, and I think it was
for president.
Yes, Morris Katz. Did you see
for president?
Yeah, they were hoping he would win, that he'd be a shoo-in in Maine, and that he would be the candidate versus AOC for the next go-round. Can you imagine that?
Wow. The Nazi tattoo guy representing the United States as... No, I actually...
How do you like those oysters?
Thank you.
Go to his mother's restaurant and buy a few.
Oh, man. All right. Truth, justice. Let's do it, guys.
Okay.
Wait. We still have time. This is early. We still have time. Joe, don't you?
Oh,
yeah, we do. We still have time. Yeah.
So, where are you this weekend?
Oh, this weekend. Well, New Jersey, because I'm hosting on the big weekend show on Fox News from 5 to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So please do tune in. 3 hours of conch, which is probably 2 hours more than what anybody wants. But sure enough, I'll be there. So please do tune in. Fox News, 5 to 8 p.m. Thank you.
You're not flying into the Trump airport in Palm Beach?
I should. 13 airports, Rita, have been named after presidents. So now we have Donald Trump Airport down in Palm Beach. It only makes sense. If you've been to Palm Beach, trust me, that is Trump country more than Cat's country in New York. That I do know.
I don't know. That's competition, though. I would say it's pretty much Cat's country everywhere, don't you think?
That's a very good point. And
yes.
He's the boss, so I say, you know what? It's Cat's Galaxy at this point.
That's the right answer. Ed, what do you think?
I think New York is New York, and that's the city. So,
Joe, I think it's time.
You do? You think it's time? You think it's time? It's time. All right.
TGIF.
Thank God it is
Thank God it's Friday.
So what do we stand for?
Oh, wow. Well, that's a new one.
Truth,
justice, and the American way.
God bless you.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light Drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.